Right, so this is going to be Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and as well Cancer Rising. Weekly General Tarot reading February 1st to February 7th, 2021. And should you be interested, guys, into a personal reading with me or having to take one of my tarot classes, you can check out the description down below, and there you're going to find a link to my website where you can review, visit, and purchase either of these services. So with that being said, moving straight away to the Cancer reading here, the first card that we do have for you guys, that is going to be the Two of Swords. Can you see the card? Yeah, okay. Probably I should hold them a little bit like that so you can see them much better. Followed by the Knight of Wands. Moving next, what we do have is going to be Temperance. Afterwards, we do have the Knight of Swords. And the last one for you is going to be the Seven of Cups. Ooh, all right. So, the week will be a bit confusing, and you will see why when we get into the cards. So what we do have confusing in the sense that at the end of the week, you will kind of like be left with some sort of a mixed messages. And at the start of the week here, we do have you as the Two of Swords. And that card pretty much points that at the start of the week, you Cancer are going to be in a pretty good shape. That is, in the sense of that there will be no, how can I say, negative nor an extremely, I don't want to say positive, it's more like, well, I would say that you are going to be in a state of balance at the start of the week, okay? Things are going to be in such way positioned out there in terms of love and in terms of career as well, that there will be no problems, but in the same time, it will feel like there is no movement forward. And that is because with the Two of Swords, everything hangs on some kind of a choice that you will have to make, or action that you will have to take. But the thing with the Two of Swords is that the situation itself have not developed enough, all right? And at that point, the choice or the action, it's pretty much anybody's guess. And you still need to have more information or kind of like more observation as well upon the situation, either into your career or either into your relationship, so you can make up your mind in what you are to do or in what you are to decide in favor of. Two of Swords, it's a good card. It is because it gives you time. It tells you that you don't have to take actions right now in this very moment. Maybe your actions that you are anticipating at that point are not the most efficient. I don't want to say right or wrong, but they're maybe not most efficient actions that you can take. Same thing in terms of a decision making. And at the start of the week, you are going to, how can I say, take the standpoint, the mindset that is, that there is still more what can be extracted as an information, so you can prepare better to make up your mind moving forward into the future. And right at that point, an individual appears here, which is the Knight of Wands. That could be someone you know, or it could be someone that just appeared at that given time, someone that you are to be introduced at. So Knight of Wands, these are quite enterprising people. They are kind of like very dynamic. They like action, but they are driven solely by their interest. And this is where you can be beguiled into decide whenever you are not ready to do so. You know, some of your options available in front of you are going to sparkle interest into this Knight of Wands. And he or she, because it could be a woman as well, will kind of like, the word is not force you, but more like push you into deciding in favor of one or the other choice, to do one or the other thing while you're not feeling ready for it. That could be, I'm just saying here, for example, that could be the stage that you are not exactly sure, should you give that woman a go for kind of like intimacy, and the woman that appears as the Knight of Wands is kind of like really pushing it into that direction, being very enterprising, gifting you presents, and doing all the stuff that kind of like revitalize or exponentially increase your passion toward her. And the whole thing here is that you may jump into something that you'll be a bit unprepared about. Because for what it seems, the vision that the Knight of Wands here has does not really correlate very much with your vision. The Knight has one goal and one idea. In this case, these Knights, their idea is to have fun. But your idea may be to be in a stable and solid relationship. That Knight may have an idea, just to try out some kind of a business. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay for them. But for you, it may be the last attempt. That could be the rock bottom for you. If it doesn't work out, you are pretty much done. So it will be very advisable to such kind of people that, like I said, are very energetic. They constantly jump from one thing into another. They always change points of view. They tell you something, you say, I'm not sure that it's going to work out that way, and they, all right, so we can try it another way. We can try this, we can try that. No, these kind of people you gotta keep aside from you, because that's the last thing you want to do right now, to try. You need to pretty much nail it with your choice or with your action here in this week. That's why the Two of Swords gives you the necessary time for you in order to pretty much gather up as much information, as much objectives as possible. And when you're feeling ready, then you're pressing. Now, of course, that is not going to be faced lightly with from that Knight of Wands. And right after the appearance and the expression of this person here, we do have the Temperance. And that is the point where it will be a cumulative understanding, what we do have with the Temperance, where you and this individual, you do realize that, it's impossible to cover up with the perception and with opinions all the time. And right now, as the opinions are diverse, they pretty much do not correlate with one another, that is not a reason for you both to be on the edge, for you both to become enemies, while you could be a very, very good friends. And so the Temperance here points for you, Cancer, that at that point, you and the Knight of Wands, regardless, are you going to decide to give it a go, or to wait for the right moment to come about? That is the advisable approach here. Just don't make a decision if you're not 100% certain that is going to give results. Okay, but regardless of what you choose in favor of here, with the Knight of Wands, you're gonna find a common tongue. Okay, you're just gonna be in a good terms. And believe it or not, from this individual, you're going to face a lot of compassion, a lot of solidarity as well. And I can't say really support, but at least they are not going to get into your way. And the other thing about the Temperance, which is much more kind of like earthly, if I may say it that way, is that while you are waiting and gathering up on information, and kind of like observing the situation before you're feeling ready to make your final act, before you're ready to decide what you're going to do, or do what you are supposed to do, or what you want to do here, Temperance points that you're going to make your life, or rather like your experience in life, much more pleasant by transforming the chores you need to undertake into a much more enjoyable experience, like transforming the chore of cleaning your house, if that's something that annoys you, into something like a game, for example, that you are looking forward to. My point here with the temperance is that the responsibilities you need to undertake, the usual daily responsibilities throughout the week, are not going to be such a pain in the throughout this week, in comparison with the previous week. Same thing goes into the chores, into your career as well. That is because of first, you would want to run your time as pleasant as possible, and the second thing is that the personal realization that just life cannot go without those chores, or success cannot go without those chores. You have in one endeavor, you know, the pleasant side of it and the unpleasant side of it, and you can't have one without the other, right? So yeah, while it could be, for example, very pleasant for you to calculate mechanisms, I'm giving an example with myself right now, mechanisms and building up a machine, right, drawing it 3D and seeing how it works there on a computer simulation. While that is so enjoyable, making the 2D drawings is like, oh my God, but one cannot go without the other, right? That's your job. And this is what I'm talking here about with the temperance. It's just, you know, you're going to face your chores with much more bearable states for you to tackle with. And right after that, we do have another individual coming up. That is going to be the Knight of Swords. Now, this is the one that you need to listen. Okay, that is the second person that steps into your week. Now, this one, very sharp and intellectual individual, sharp in mind. I mean, they are kind of like when you present them with the problem, they kind of, it's not like they do have an immediate solution, but they very well understand the nature of the problem. And these people, that person will never push you make a decision unless that, or to make an action, in fact, unless that decision or an action, it will be productive, you know, it will be effective. Knights of Swords, they always consult the decisions that they make personally with their emotions as well. So here we may talk, for example, if we follow the narrative of that, you know, you're not exactly sure if you're going to give that woman a chance or not. Here with the Two of Swords, but she's really pushing into that direction. But instead with the Temperance, you know, you kind of like keep her into the friendship zone, being open with her. She understands it, and it's kind of like you know, complains with the rules of the game, and then another woman steps in after that, and that woman kind of gives you the how can I say, the impression, not just the impression, but also proves that she sees you as a valuable option, and that seeing is because she feels it that way. While with the first one, she's driven by the interest. She just sees the relationship with you very interesting, passionate, but nothing more than that, at least not at that stage. That is just an example of how it could develop. Knights of Swords, like I said, their decisions are always consulted with their emotions, so they don't do something they do not like, and therefore they're never going to make you do something you do not like as well. So in the grand scheme of things with this card, if we're talking about a solution of a problem that you do have, or an action that you have to make, you can expect here a very fruitful deliberations with this Knight of Swords about what are the options available. Is there something that you are missing? Their intellectual ability, very, very sharp. How can I say, wisdom that they do have is going to help you as well. See the situation from the perspective you need, because with the Two of Swords, before you decide what to do, you got to consider all points of view, and they're going to give you very, very fresh points of view that is going to pretty much light the bulb in your mind, you know, like Dexter's Laboratory show that we had on the Cartoon Network once before. I don't know if it is running right now, but when Dexter's figure out something, the bulb lights up here in some kind of a cloud or something. In any case, they're just going to give you, you know, other things to think about, and that will lead you to the answer you need, or to the decision, to the action that you need to make. And then at the end of the week, we do have the Seven of Cups. And that is where you do become very grounded and very in tune with the reality. You're not baffled anymore about what you have to do. The way you have to do it, though, now that will be a different story. And here we are entering into the field of trial and error. Okay, but the dangerous part have already been done. And so now with the Seven of Cups, in the following weeks, you do have the luxury to try out. Every failed try that you do, some of you are going to make it up from the first try, some of you are going to make it up from the 20th try. But every failed try is just going to kind of like, what was I about to say? Eliminate, an option that in usual circumstances would have been very damaging. But here it's just is going to cause you a bit of a disappointment, but that disappointment is just going to bounce you back at the starting line, which starting line is after you decided what you do or what to do or what you decide in favor of. Now the problem is how to do it, like we said. So yeah, it's going to start you into that, bounce you back into that starting line of how to do it, and then you get to try anew from another angle, with another approach until you finally figure it out. So yeah, it's after this week you may expect into this endeavor or into this enterprise a little bit of a knowing follow-up, that things are not gonna always go your way. Sometimes you may face kind of like a disappointment, but at the end of the day, nobody is gonna die there, and you get to try for as many times you want. For example, if that's about the relationship that you may form with the Knight of Swords, this person is going to understand, that things are not ideal, and it takes time so you both can align with yourself, while the Knights of Wands, I don't care. I mean, as soon as you make a mistake and they see that you are not interesting to them, they just walk away. So yeah, but the Knight of Swords, they are much more understandable, and they're going to give it another go and another go and another go for as long as you for as long as you're willing to try. And there you go. At one point, you're going to get the formula right. So yeah, that is pretty much your, and same thing for business, right? Business with Knights of Wands, as soon as they get a better offer or a better business that wants them, they're just gonna leave you stranded. While the Knights of Swords, they'll keep up with you, okay? Once they bite, they do not let go of. And if one business formula doesn't work, another is going to work, and then if another doesn't work as well, then we are going to jump into another one. So yeah, I mean, that is the weekly tarot guidance or general tarot reading for you, Cancer. Hopefully you do enjoy it and you do like it, guys, and we shall see each other next time. Until then, bye.